Welcome to the Real Board Loft. I'm Trip Forman. We got Real Team Rider James Jenkins with us, and we're here today to talk about one of James's boards that he's fired up on. It is the Slater Designs FRK, shaped by Dan Mann, and the very first time that you surfed this was getting ready for the Kelly Slater wave pool, right? Like, you got this board, you did a couple days on it here in the Outer Banks, if I remember back, and then, you know, because you don't want to just go into the Kelly Slater wave pool, like, very first time riding a brand, like, surfing that wave for the first time and a board for the first time. So James tuned it up here in Cape Hatteras in some, like, winter kind of beach break conditions, and then took it out to the pool. James, tell us about this board.
Yeah, so this board, this is a, let's see where the dims are here. This is a 5'9", 18 3/8 by 2 3/8, 25.6 liters, which is at kind of the top of my range in terms of liters in the boards that I ride. And so got to try it out in good 4 to 6 foot beach break conditions here in Hatteras, which is, you know, powerful surf.
Yeah.
You get, you know, barrels and chunky sections to do turns on. And I was wearing a lot of rubber, so it handled that really well. And then got to the wave pool, and obviously just felt even more in love with it there, you know, with how perfect of a wave that is. You really get to feel how the board rides. But in the barrel, it goes absolutely amazing. I really love this this pintail that it has on it, and having the option to ride as a thruster or a quad.
Right.
I prefer to ride thruster when it's, you know, maybe underhead high. I know I'm going to be doing more turns and stuff. And then if it's straight hollow beach break, or, you know, Central American barrels, or anywhere in Fiji I've taken this board, I like to go for the straight quad, as I've found that works best in the barrel and really trying to drive down the line through sections.
So, like, looking at this board, is it a step up? Is it a short board? Like, what is, like, where would you put this board, you know, in somebody's general quiver?
For me, in my quiver, I kind of have this board as my really good wave, high performance short board when I know the waves are firing, you know, really hollow barrels, or beautiful offshore waves when I want to go and crank a bunch of turns. So I kind of have this as my high performance, quality wave, performance shortboard.
Okay. And then what about, you know, Dan Mann shaping this board and, you know, making this design, the FRK, you know, and you hear the whole backstory with him and Kelly, where the thing was like sitting for a while, and then all of a sudden he wrote it, and it was, you know, he just fell in love with it. But let's talk about Dan at the pool.
Yeah.
Because that's like your own story, right? So tell us about surfing with Dan at the pool.
Yeah, it was so cool. Jeffrey O'Neill and I luckily had the opportunity to go there. Those guys were nice enough to have us, and we walk up, and then there's Dan Mann, and he's like, "Oh, hey guys, oh, you got my board." So I was holding the FRK. I was so excited to ride it there, and he's like, "Yeah, I made that." And it was really cool listening to him talk through the process of coming up with this board with Kelly, and they'd tried it, and then Kelly never used it, and then all of a sudden he tried it again, and we're like, "Whoa, this thing is something special." And you know, it's been one of the best shortboards I've ever ridden. Yeah, it just feels really, really good on the feet. Makes you feel like you surf better. And it feels good under your arm. And I think an important thing to note that Dan Mann actually mentioned was when you pick it up in a surf shop, you put it under your arm, find the liters that you think is right for you, and if it feels just too small for you, it's perfect size for you.
That's the right size.
And I think that's because of the way that he kind of displays the volume throughout the board. It's not typical. So
now, what about Dan? There's like some rumors that he was, you know, because you're like, oh, wait a minute, that's not Dan, like, it's the wrong stance. Like, was he switch footing both directions at the pool, or what?
You know, you get a left and then a right, and you see Dan Mann, oh, he's on the left, you know, getting barreled front side, and then 10 minutes later, oh, who's this guy on the right, getting barreled front side? And it's Dan Mann.
Right,
the guy doesn't go backside, he's like the switch foot king.
Nice,
so
that's awesome, man.
It's pretty cool to see, and he was doing it on this board.
So the last thing we want to talk about is, you know, going through your quiver, like unloading your car and like picking up your boards and everything, you know, the difference between PU and helium as far as durability. Like, how many sessions does this board have on it?
I had this board for my entire surf guide stint in Fiji, an entire season in Nicaragua, so probably 5 months. You know, I don't even know how many waves I've gotten on it, but 0 cracks in the rail. I can't even see a pressure ding when I'm looking down it.
Yeah, you got, like, you know, there's a little bit of a depression here and here, but I mean, like, not. I mean, again, like, just comparing this to poly, like, it's a huge difference. And, and like, when you're going from one board to the next, and they're all these, you kind of don't notice it, and then you all of a sudden pick up one of your polys that you've had for that long, and it's a lot more beat up. So that's definitely worth mentioning as well, because I mean that's one of the things that I think attracts a lot of people to Firewire and Slater and Tomo
and Dan Mann
and Dan Mann and Rob Machado. So that's the FRK. Slater Designs FRK. James Jenkins. I'm Trip Forman, and we got Jeffrey O'Neill on the other side of the camera. If you have any questions about this board or would like to place an order for one, you can call us at the shop anytime, even if we're closed. 252-987-6000. We'll call you right back. Or you can look us up online, realwatersports.com/surfing. Thanks for tuning in.